So one thing about emotional intelligence is look at what is in my own control. And if I start getting agitated or getting anxious about what is not in my control, then my anxiety levels and my tensions and my stress goes up. So documentation has helped me in this aspect also, because I'm writing what is in my control. That's all. And what happens, good or bad, is an outcome. It's not in my control. But the third question, which is related, how to go back and take a decision from a documentation. But if I continuously start documenting my decisions, and then I start documenting the outcomes, which can be good, bad, it will become a referral for me how to process my decision, and I'll improve my decision. So documentation is a way of improving decision. You cannot correct the past, but you can use the present.
Yes, the first question is from Mr. Vasant Kumar Mysurman. I have a few innovative ideas for betterment of society, environment. I tried, but they took my IP and vanished. Later came to know that they had started as if that idea is of their own, and I was left high and dry. No trust in giving my ideas. How do I handle?
Very interesting, very interesting question. Perhaps we are in the similar space. So first is, I think very important is that first sentence. I have a few innovative ideas for the betterment of society. So the idea was never mine or for me. And if somebody has taken that idea and taken it and commercialized it, then perhaps I should be happy that my idea was good. That's my take on that. Having said that, I'm not saying we should promote people to do this. So there's a technology. This is a similar case with us also, and there's a technology which we developed called the silica plastic block technology. There was somebody had asked me a few 4 or 5 years back, why don't you patent it to protect it? And my reply was, the technology is being created for the environment and for people. So I don't want to patent it, because if anybody wants to copy, they are open to copy. But what I did at the same time was publish so much information on the public domain that even if somebody patents, I have a repository before the person has patented. So documentation is one of the strategies I use, that I have been continuously publishing information, videos, Instagram, articles since 2018. So there's a 2020 YouTube video which has got almost 6 lakh views on that technology. I know there's somebody who has patented this technology recently, and then and they are doing this. But I said, hey, they can patent the technology, but perhaps they would not be able to patent my mind, because my mind belongs to me. So rather than being worried about somebody has taken it and left me high and dry, look at how one can be more mindful and structure my documentation in a way that it is there for the community, as well as I'm able to give some experiences.
No, sir. May I?
Yes, please.
You mentioned about the building blocks or something like that.
Yeah.
I have gone one step further, and I have already suggested it, and many of them have done it. What I do is I take the plastic, mix it with, I'll go one step further. For example, e-waste, how we can handle that deadly waste. So it is very difficult to get back our rare earths that are embedded into the computers, mobiles, etc., like cobalt, nickel, etc., gold, silver also, and some rare earths. It is difficult to get back that kind of a recover. So what we can do is, after somebody has already recovered those things, something else remains, plastic, etc. Those things can be collected in a new startup. Somebody can just get into that kind of an area, take a shed, just go on making them into bits and pieces, take them and mix it with put it into the hollow blocks and seal it. And you can use it as a construction material.
Vasanji, I would only reflect whatever we have thought about. Let us look at this habit of documenting and try to document this entire idea. And document is not only the theoretical part, but also the numbers, because documentation is not about only the theory part. And so when you're looking at building a sustainable business, when you're looking at building something which is sustainable, I must also look at the financial aspect, whether it is viable or not viable.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Manish.
I'm going to move on to the next question from Mr. Shmuel.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. And I want to ask you how documenting can support poor and low socioeconomic groups of population creation sustainable communities.
Sir, it's a very interesting question. So first is, if I don't know what the problem is through a proper document, how would somebody be able to even propose to assist? So the first step is to share the problem, and they share the problem in a very systematic way. So it's not only documentation, it's also the quality of documentation, how we are presenting it. And this is my experience that I have been able to use documentation as a very important tool to capture the pain. And if you are able to express this and share, I would be most happy to see and get into more detail with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shmuel, sir, for joining us. Sir, I have a question. Do you also go about documenting, say, personal instances of your life and experiences, like emotional or anything like that?
Yeah. So when I'm documenting, and I shared some of those impressions in which I'm writing as the Empretech or the Hira gym. It's a mental gym. So I was able to document one of my accidents. What did I do when I met with an accident? So, or when I'm challenged with something which is very personal, whether how do I take care of my health or so there are multiple, to hold that information. And I think what sir has said is decluttering. See, if I'm able to put out what is going on in my head as a background and bring out a stimulus, so I feel that I am antagonized is a stimulus. Okay? And then I draw an intent. I wish to find a way to reduce my state of being antagonized. And then what are the actions I have taken? Okay, I went and did some meditation, or I wrote something. That is documentation. It's not very complex. And a lot of people say that I'm not able to write a decision. I said, even if you take a breath, when you breathe, it's a decision, which you can document. So, say bad experiences. So, experience is only when you start reflecting after the experience, you know whether it's bad or good. You don't know the experience is good or bad when you are actually doing it. And that's separating your self from yourself. And I have been able to document it.
Amazing. Okay, there's another question from Mr. Vasan Kumar. Why is it miserable experience for creating IP registration?
So it's an experience. I don't know whether it's miserable or not. I'll not use it whether it's miserable or not. So the only thing which I have control on. So one thing about emotional intelligence is look at what is in my own control. And if I start getting agitated or getting anxious about what is not in my control, then my anxiety levels and my tensions and my stress goes up. So documentation has helped me in this aspect also, because I'm writing what is in my control. That's all. And what happens, good or bad, is an outcome. It's not in my control. But the other question, which is related, how to go back and take a decision from our documentation. But if I continuously start documenting my decisions, and then I start documenting the outcomes, which can be good, bad, it will become a referral for me how to process my decision, and I'll improve my decision. So documentation is a way of improving decision. You cannot correct the past, but you can use the present.
Right, sir. Theoretically, whatever you are saying is perfect. But when we go to the extent, the thing is, they are invariably the lawyers and others will step into that. I will have to necessarily consult a lawyer for registration of IP. And invariably, I find that they are asking a huge amount to follow the formalities and other things.
My question to you is, why do you want to even register your IP when it is for the environment?
True, sir. At the same time, there are so many environmental innovative ideas that have been registered, isn't it? So I thought
so that's a system. We have to understand the system, and the system. I and you can't change the system. The only person I can change is myself.
It's called Vyavastha. It should be better Vyavastha. Instead of that being pushed into following all sorts of unwanted experiences, which I wouldn't like to.
Have you been able to document this experience somewhere and write?
You mean my experience or the innovative idea?
No, this experience of struggle. So
I have followed it.
If you go on my LinkedIn, we had an experience of a financial struggle with one enterprise. I started to write on LinkedIn, and within 1 month, I got my resolution. It's just about using facts, no stories, just facts. This is what has happened, and place them in the public domain. When normal doesn't work, put your information in the public domain and let the system work. It's a very powerful tool.
At this age, I'm finding it a little difficult to be that kind of a experienced person, because digitalization has stepped in late, and my mind is yet to catch up with this. Anyway, thank you for the information.
Thank you so much, sir. So, do you prefer like typing down stuff onto a digital medium, or you prefer first penning it down into a notepad or something like that? Like,
no,
that's a very vague question, but
I have my habit of writing on a pen and paper has gone away.
Same.
But I do keep making some notes like this.
Amazing. Okay? Yes.
Some points, but when it comes to writing, my speed of typing is very much higher than my.
Yeah, so you sort of make a mood board and a brainstorm thing on a notepad and then move on to a digital medium and type it
now
down.
I started using the AI tools for bouncing board and documenting also. Amazing. This entire poll was made from questions put to the ChatGPT and communicate. So it's not my own English, I would say. I use it as an assistant, not as slave, not the master.
Yes.
That's something you have to remember. There's a question: how to assess the impact of life skill training on youths? I can't understand this entire question. So Nirmalji, if you can just share more details of what exactly you wish to ask. It's a very broad-based question. But what I can share is what we are doing right now is there's a competency framework of the way one person behaves. Okay? And I started using that as a way of understanding youth, how they behave. And there's a set of virtues, 24 virtues, 10 competencies, and their decision making. So I look at how they document. And from that documentation, I'll start to understand where is it they are not having, where they may need some support. So if you use documentation as a tool for youth, recently I'm teaching PLC industrial automation in engineering college, and the students did a project. As in, can you document the process? How did you arrive at this outcome? They're only sharing the outcome, but they're not writing the process. And I've not found any of them there. And so my reflection is that their life skills are very poor. So life skill is something which you can recognize by the way people respond. And that is what you can assess.
I hope, Nirmal sir, that answers your question.
Yeah. So.
Yep, I've also unmuted you, so you can also speak if you'd like.
Hello. I am running this life skill program in schools among youth. So I have seen rude behavior among the students. So for that I have started and trying how to address that rude behavior among the students. So for that I have prepared one self-appraisal form so that they can self-aware themselves about their attitude, habits, and after that I want to assess their outcome. How can I assess their outcome? after my program, how can what
So,
impact I have
so I have this question, sir. If I were to look at this framework, I would first list the outcomes which I want to measure before I make the design of the program. What is it that I will measure, and how will I measure? So when we look at key performance indexes, KPIs, or those, there's always a struggle. So we keep defining this is what we should do, but I don't know how to measure it, whether somebody is doing. And particularly when it comes to something which is very intangible, like a life skill, it's not going to be very easy to measure it. So this is one reflection. So first is to derive a framework on how would I measure, and before giving to the students, can I do this myself for myself? So it starts from documenting for self. So am I able to document as per that framework for myself and present it to students? This is how I behave. Children learn from emulation. Let us understand. Children learn from emulation. They learn from the environment around them and not by somebody telling them what to do. They will learn very fast from what is going around them. So whenever we talk of students, I say the people who would I wish to work with is the parents, not the children. So if the parents behave in a certain way, the children are going to perhaps emulate them, or the people around them, parents or the people with who they are regularly. So if I have to evolve a strategy of building life skills in children, I look at a strategy of building life skills in the system in which they are living, not in the children around.